Yes, you know what it is. rumncokeradio each and every Tuesday right here. Myself, the show run. We got Dizzy D.
Hey.
We got Miss Holiday.
Yo.
That's DJ Yaz in the mix. Yo, shout out to St. John. That concert was fucking amazing. Shout out to Lisa for taking me.
I wish I could have went.
I never got to see. I fainted the first time.
It was.
Oh yeah, the first time you couldn't even make that show. You made it to like just before he got on 2 songs. Yeah.
Oh,
what, did you give her a weed cookie? What happened?
Yeah.
Somebody did.
Somebody must have, because she was like not.
It was like the same story, but at Imperial.
So I gotta be on edge when I'm hanging out with this crew, hey? I
With
gotta
her.
Is this a watch your drink kind of crew?
No.
With her.
No, not with me, because y'all are like
and Dizzy too,
my
because he'll spike your shit.
musketeers.
Dizzy's gonna be my hashtag #MeToo story.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's pause. Let's pause on that one for a second.
Can
even pause that?
Let's just pause for a second there. Ladies and gentlemen, I am never, ever going to be anyone's hashtag #MeToo. I'm
Hey,
just going to put that on
It
record
might be
right
me
now.
3.
No.
Hey, he got me already, so wait till my autobiography comes out. All right. But
Let's keep it moving.
I don't even think
It was almost kind of menacing after those stories. I'm gonna sit
I don't even think we brought him in properly. So Dizzy, do your thing.
Ladies
Season
and
proper.
gentlemen, make some noise
Hey.
for mixing and mastering. You need to call the one and only Jamie Kuse from Nova Studios. And it's true, like, you need to call you for all that stuff. You are the man. We'll get to that in a bit. Let Miss Holiday do her thing.
Okay, so yeah, this is my first time having the pleasure to meet you. So for all of our audience who do not know exactly whose presence we are into this evening, let everybody know. Introduce yourself, tell them what you do, how long you've been doing your thing.
Yeah, my name is Jamie Kuse. I've been like a producer, an engineer, mixer in town for like, I'm almost embarrassed to say, like 15 years now.
True. That's not an embarrassment, dog.
No, it is.
You've
It's
done a
time
lot.
in the game. It's time in the game for sure. And I've been a studio owner. I have a studio called Nova Studios with my partner Mike Southworth, and we just built it. We were doing the creative recording studios thing, and kind of just took it even to a new direction by building a new Studio A. So we've kind of had that since the summer, and that has been like a really big development for us. That's in North Vancouver, just off the Second Narrows Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the new big thing right now is kind of the Nova Studios and the rebranding of the studio. And yeah, obviously been making lots of great music this year, working with some really cool people.
Facts, bro. And you are working with a lot of great people. We'll get to that in a bit. But let's talk about the studio. So, like, I've been to the studio.
Yeah.
And I've got to tell you, I think, in my recollection of studio life, that your studio has definitely been the best sounding, best looking studio I've entered, period. Yep.
Period.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely, thank you very much, man. Yeah, it definitely competes on a world stage now.
Yep.
I like to say it's definitely one of the most accurate rooms in Canada.
Most
Definitely the most accurate room in Western Canada.
Explain what you mean by the most accurate.
Well, in sound and studios, it's, you don't just want like sheer volume. Volume doesn't equal good.
Mm-hmm.
So it of course you can go nice and loud, but what you want to be able to do is trust what you're hearing. So you got to have a nice pair of speakers. But if you have a nice pair of speakers in a room that's not right, not mathematically correct, there's a whole bunch of science surrounding it, you're kind of dead in the water. So basically, we built a room that is mathematically perfect with the help of one of the world's top acoustic architects. So you can basically trust what you're hearing 100%.
In any part of the room, too.
Yeah, you can walk around the room, it sounds the same. I mean, that might not impress the average person, but if you've been in a studio before, you sit at the back, usually there's more bass at the back, or you go over and stand by the door and it sounds weird, but this is one of those rooms where you can walk around and it sounds the same anywhere, which might not be exciting for the layperson, but for a recording studio, that's actually quite the feat.
And on top of how it sounds in there, it also has a visual element to the place as well.
Sure.
Talk about it.
Sure, yeah. So when we set out to build the room, sound was a given. We wanted it to achieve technical perfection in that regard. But the other thing that we wanted to do is, get the vibe right. Like if you go into a studio to create, you want to feel inspired. And I find like a lot of studios, they all kind of look the same. They were built in the 70s, and they got the big mixing board and the gear and just some regular lights or whatever. But we wanted to take it in a completely new direction and build a studio that kind of fit the paradigm of creating modern music. So we didn't do the big console thing. We slimmed down our gear to just the gear we need, so it's mostly a digital mix room, but we went crazy with the lights. We've got 280 linear feet of high quality LED strip lighting around the room, designed into the room, and it displays like millions of colors. The lights sync up to music, like when you're playing it. It's an experience for sure.
So I go over there. The last time I was over there, he's like, "Oh, bro, you should just have fun with the lights while I'm doing this." Here, he gives me the app that runs the light system. We're like watching rainfall and waterfalls with the lights.
Yeah, it can come down the walls and everything. It's cool.
It's so crazy. And if you want to like fire, if we're like, he's playing a fire beat, we turn on the fire one. It's like flames coming up. It's so damn
It's a vibe.
amazing.
And if you're making music, like that's what anyone will tell you. It's all about the vibe.
So I just had a quick question. How much do you usually charge for your studio sessions, or how does your price range work?
Well, it's interesting. We have. It's not just me working there too. I should shout out my homie Chris Antonio.
Hey.
He's been assisting at the studio and kind of studying under me and some of the other guys there. So it really depends. I'm not gonna like put all the business out on the air. It depends on the project, but we have everything from like accessible rates with some of our more junior engineers, or if you want to work with some of the more experienced guys there or whatever for mixing, mastering. It's flexible. So there's a sliding scale for sure.
And he's been on that. He's been on that flexible vibe for a while. Pause.
Yeah.
He's been helping out artists
pause that. It's a
for a
super
while.
delay,
I'm gonna get Bikram yoga now.
Whoa! That's a nasty old man. If anybody that watched that Netflix doc,
it's disgusting.
That is a nasty. I didn't even know you could step on people's hips like that. Like, it was like you can do that. Shit. Anyways,
I was gonna ask, what made you even want to get into like the engineering process of like music? What was it that inspired you to do so?
That's a good question. When I started out as a beat maker, and then I would make these beats, and then other kids from school would be like, "I want to rap on the beat" or whatever. I'm like, "Cool." Well, there was no one to record it, so I kind of just started doing it out of necessity. And then slowly over time, like I found there was actually like a bigger market for the studio side of things, and continued making beats. But I do that so much less now because I feel like you can go buy like a really fire beat that some 16-year-old in Austria made off the internet for $75. A, I'm not trying to compete with that.
No.
B, his beat is probably more fire than mine. But one thing there is a need for is high quality sounding music, especially that was really important on the radio. Then we kind of got into the MySpace and SoundCloud or whatever, where sound quality wasn't the most important to everybody, depending on the music that you make. But we've now entered a time again where it's especially important because streaming services like Spotify, they reward quality. You're not going to get up on one of those main rap caviar playlists if your mix isn't right. So I think we've come full circle to where quality is key again if you're trying to compete.
I appreciate that. 1,000. And then, you've been doing it out here for a very long time. To be honest with you, I was in Calgary. I was with a producer named Adam Stanton.
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine too. Shout out Adam.
And he
very
brought up your
talented
name there.
Yeah.
He brought up your name out there too. And, I'm hanging with B-Dice. He started bringing up your name as well a lot. Cheddar Cheese. He especially speaks of your name a whole lot. So you have a history out here doing a lot of stuff. And with those particular people, and I know those people do a lot of other things other than just like hip hop related, type vibes. You actually won a bunch of awards for stuff unrelated to hip hop.
Yeah, gospel. I did 2 gospel albums, and they both got nominated for Juno Awards, and they won like 7 gospel music awards, which is the highest award in gospel music.
Yeah.
So that was kind of random, but it was a kind of really fun tangent to go on, and still exploring that. It's
That's
a lot
what
of
I'm
fun.
saying. He's done a whole lot. Like when you go to his place, all the awards are there. But
Down and grinded.
that's what's up.
What artist has been your favorite?
You can't say that.
Well,
answer that.
I don't have to pick an absolute favorite.
no, but
Yeah, but
someone,
once you've had
a
fun,
project,
yeah.
like anything that you felt like the most proud of, that you were just like, something that you created that you were just like, man, this really moved me, or just the connection. Like there could always be, many favorite projects, but the one that stood out to you the most?
It's impossible to even pinpoint anything like that, because I think what's really cool
Music
about this job is that there's so many different unique experiences, so every day is a new day. So I wouldn't even begin to try and pick something like that, because everything is so different. But it's a good question in the sense that, like, some of those experiences that you build with people, like, they become your friends, right? Like, you know, you call them, oh, I got my client in today or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, that person should be your friend as well, because you're not, I always say, like, I joke, I'm not doing your taxes, like, we're here creating, we're making music together.
That's fact.
But there's people that I've been making music with for a really long time, like super day ones that I've been working with since basically, like, I met my homie Terrell when he was Terrell Safety. Met him when he was like 18 years old. I've been working, you guys had Junk on here, I've been working with him for, you know, damn near 10 years, and like the laughs I have in the studio with that guy are insane. He says the most outrageous shit.
Trust me. No. We were just with him over the weekend playing FIFA. I challenged him.
Yeah, how'd it go though?
We forgot to talk about that.
That is
Next week.
That is
Next
no
week.
spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Content only.
We'll bring
Haha.
But yes, we finally did do it after some waiting.
Why was there some trash talking leading up to this?
Bro, man, I'm good, I'm really good.
Not what I saw.
No, you over there, it's just chill with yourself. I know UK, you play proper, but we're over here on the west side of Canada now, bro. Anyways, let's continue with these questions. I don't want to get out of hand right now.
Yeah, he's gonna get mad.
You started mentioning a whole bunch of artists. I know Boslen's been in your studio. You've had Manila Gray in your studio.
Yep.
You've had what's his name? Brevner in your studio.
Yep. Brevner, he was. He did a joint that recently with these guys called the snottynoserezkids, which are really dope. Those guys
Have you had them in your studio yet?
Yeah, I did a few songs on their last album, Trapline, and I'm currently working on a new album with them.
I'm trying to get those guys.
Nice.
Man.
Really
Holler
dope
at those
guys.
boys,
Really
man.
dope guys.
Okay, so online, we asked, what would you ask Jamie Kuse?
Okay.
And we had a whole bunch of people who showed up and started asking questions. Farah's on there. You've done work with her.
Nice,
So
yeah, shout out
how about
Farah.
Miss Holiday? You read the person's name, the question they want to ask, and let's do a quick run through of all these questions.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into like Jamie reads mean tweets about himself. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Okay, so the first one is from Jonathan with 2 N's dot wave, WAV.
Yeah.
And oh no, cancel that. He said, what common mixing mastering mistakes do you see amateur producers making often?
I think the number one mistake, and I have to fight this all the time still, is maybe vocals too quiet. I think a lot of time what makes a mix sound pro is the vocals being
Hearing it.
slightly louder than you would put them. I saw Mike Dean talking in an interview. He's Kanye West engineer and stuff, and he was on one of these engineering shows, and they asked him like, how do you get vocals to sit in the mix? And he said, okay, I put them where I want to put them, and then I turn them up 4 decibels.
Oh wow.
So it's like, I kind of feel like pop mixes on the radio, which are kind of associated with the highest quality of engineering, the vocals are really loud. So I think on some level, like a nice loud, clear vocal is associated with quality.
Dope. The next one is from Uncle Ricky, Uncle spelt with a K, Ricky
this
2
should be good.
Y's. What are your MyFree cams and premium Snapchat handles?
You.
Yeah. Cool. I'll DM that to you, Ricky.
You got a OnlyFans too? Yeah. I got them tokens on deck. Know what I mean?
Okay.
Shout out Ricky though, really good producer.
Next one, Imperative. What are your top 5 rappers in Vancouver?
Top 5 rappers in Vancouver. It's hard. Should I do favorites or should I do like that are just killing it right now?
Both. Yeah,
Just do
your
favorites.
Yeah.
So, his opinion. Nobody
It
talking
could be
shit.
both. It could be both. Killing it and your favorites.
Again, yeah, let's combine the two because it's hard to like pick 5 of all time. I don't think but like I think I'm gonna pick who is killing it right now. I think that's easier because I got so much love for so many people. But I'm gonna say Boslen. Bozzy's killing it right now. I
Good
think that
job.
Black Lotus project was one of the most fun I had working on a project all year. So shout out Bozzy. I'm gonna definitely say Junk. I think he might be.
He's doing it.
Fire.
He's a contender for best rapper out here at
Yeah.
rapping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it comes to technical rapping, but being able to make it palatable, like
Freestyles.
for sure.
And his sound
It's-
has changed a lot. His
yeah.
sound changed a lot in the last few years.
He's definitely one of the best rappers. I don't want to say best, but he's definitely one of them. You know,
Dope.
you gotta say Mercules. The homie,
Art.
shout out Mercules, just had like a a record-breaking year, and just a super nice, humble guy, easy to work with. I'm gonna shout out my boy Snack the Ripper, who is also killing it. Very good rapper. I really like where he's taking his style, and a very smart, prudent businessman. And what do I have?
Okay.
Do I have one more?
Yeah, one more.
I don't know. I'm gonna shout out my boy Terrell Safety too.
Yeah, he is doing.
Yep.
He just did a feature with Tori.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can't forget.
Yeah.
Me and Adam both worked on that.
Oh, that's
Really?
awesome.
Yeah.
It's super big. I've been seeing a lot of people have been doing the challenges and making the videos, and he was just giving a $500 giveaway. So
Yeah, he works so
is
hard.
doing-
He's really focused, and again, another person who kind of just like takes the business side of it seriously, which I respect. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
just think that they're gonna make a song and put it out there, and everything's gonna happen. So I have a lot of respect for people who put the time and effort and don't get discouraged and just keep trying to work those angles, because I don't have the answer for that. People come in, what do I do now with my song? And I wish I could be like, do this and you will be famous. So like, I think you gotta have a lot of respect for the guys that just put in the time and like try and figure out a lane and what
Yeah.
works. So, but anyways, that's 5 people. Like, there's a lot more that I love out here, just killing it. But yeah, those are 5 that come to mind.
Dope. Yeah. So from Jobinson. Yeah, Jobinson. What is your favorite plug-in for hip hop vocals?
For hip hop vocals, my favorite plugin. I mean, for EQ, it's obviously going to be the Pro Q3. There's a really cool compressor by Acustica called the L-Ray, and it's got a lot of character. It's based on an old compressor, and it has a lot of character. For all those who aren't into audio engineering, I'm sorry, right now we're getting pretty technical.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anybody who mixes would really appreciate that. Someone like me, I ain't got no.
Yeah. You're not into the Pro Q32156.
I'm like, this sounds like robot talk.
Just throw the flux capacitor on there, and you'll be straight.
Okay, so La Sparka.
Oh, Sparka.
Sparks.
What's
We were
up?
also just with him. He said, Shambhala crew, who you taking to have the best time?
Who am I taking to have the best time? I mean, that whole crew, I went up there one time with like him and Willow and stuff, and Cole was up there, so all those guys are fun. I'm gonna go with that whole crew. Or, you know who wasn't there when I went up there that I wish was there was Junk. I'd like to party with Ian up there. That'd be fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, last question from my girl crush forever, Mrs. Farah. She said, how do you feel to make such an impact in careers of local artists who look up to you? That's a good
That's
one.
nice. That's nice.
Fucking farm.
I'm gonna cry. It feels really good to like build that connection with people. Like you feel you're kind of in it together, and you become like really. It shouldn't feel like a job, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously work is work and stuff, but when you go in there, it feels really cool to like build a connection with someone and work with them. So it is super rewarding to kind of to watch people grow and kind of help work together to try and find a sound. I think people are really well served to like partner up with someone who's like willing to kind of create a sonic brand for you. You can't just go out here and just be sounding like everyone else and expect everything to take off. You're better served to sit and try and make something unique, obviously in with the times. And you know, rap music especially is very fashion oriented, so you play within those lines and try and be fashionable, but at the same time try and carve your own lane. And I think doing that with someone like your engineer, your producer, is a really fun experience. So I feel really grateful to be able to share that with people.
So coming up in this game, because like producing isn't that easy, mixing and mastering isn't that easy, who did you aspire off of? Like, who was one of your real mentors in the game that you could mention?
Well, like that I was working with personally, definitely my now partner, Mike Southworth. He kind of mentored me. He took me on when I was like, 19, and I was interning for a summer, and I was filling in for him while he went to LA to work on a project. And I was just supposed to be there for the summer, but ended up sticking around and at the place that I now am a partner in with him. And so I was really grateful for his guidance, because all I knew was making beats and recording vocals, and then getting thrown into that scenario. I had to like record bands and like weird groups of old like Persian ladies playing the accordion and stuff, like whatever walked through the door, like working engineer shit. And so he really helped me through that, and it was like trial by fire. So I got to shout out my man Mike Southworth for that.
Big shout out to you for coming through,
Jamie
spitting that
Kuse.
game, answering those technical questions for
Yo,
all these engineering nerds.
Tell everybody about your place and where to go, where to find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram at Jamie Kuse, Jamiekuse. And I've also got my studio on there if you want to check it out at novastudios.ca.
Word. But you know what it is. rumncokeradio each and every Tuesday right here. And myself, this short one. We got Dizzy D.
Hey.
We got Miss Holiday.
Yo.
We got DJ Yas filling in for Ray Diamonds.
Yay!
And a special shout out to Jamie Kuse for coming through, dropping
Hey,
our knowledge.
Jamie
For
Kuse
sure.
in
Thanks
the
for having me, guys.
building.
No worries.
That was a lot of fun, brother.
So we're going to jump back in the mix with Yas.
Awesome.
And see y'all next week.
Rumncokeradio.